Okay. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you. I welcome you all to the Tech Winter Break 24. I am Shubh Mehrotra, and I am serving as the technical co-lead for this tenure of GDGC. We are thrilled to have you to join us for this exciting two-day journey on hands-on learning and innovation. For those who don't know us already, please stop living under the rock. We are a university based community for developers where we turn caffeine and curiosity into cutting edge code. We are basically the Avengers of the student tech world, except our superpower is solving problems with latest tech and a lot of collateral damage. Whether you are a newbie or still figuring out what Hello World is all about, or a coding prodigy who dreams in binary, GDGC is your squad. We're all about learning, building, and breaking, as well as fixing also, and doing the stuff together. Of course, think workshops, hackathons, and all those eureka movements that make tech so exciting is what you come to us for. At GDGC, we don't just talk the talk; we build the builds for helping local businesses go digital to crafting ideas that could reshape the future. We are here to turn potential into prototypes. And hey, who says that you can't have fun while becoming a world class developer, right? I would like to take you through our schedule. On the day two, that is today, we are going to have a hands on workshop where you will be learning to build math equation solver app using Gemini and Flutter. Also, we have shared a document in the chat which has the prerequisites that you must do before starting to code. So kindly complete all the steps mentioned in the docs. Also, guys, since we have time constraints, we won't be able to address all of your doubts and errors, but we will open the chat section momentarily from time to time to take up all your doubts. So please save your doubts and ask them in the chat section whenever you get the opportunity. Learn with us and just buckle up, get ready with your IDs. Once again, I welcome you all to the Tech Winter Break 2024. And as you embark on this journey, remember, may the bugs be with you. So that's it. I would like to invite the Android team to take over from here.
So I welcome everyone to GDG Android Winterfest. Today's workshop is about building a homework solver app with Gemini is brought to you by the Android team at GDGC VIT Bhopal. We are thrilled to have you join us as we explore the exciting opportunity of Flutter and generative AI. So let's meet our speakers. I am Sagnik Sahu, the Android lead for this tenure. Alongside me is our co-lead Saksham Gupta and Gaurav Madhuram Vishal are our core members. We are here to guide you through this workshop and make sure you gain valuable knowledge and hands-on experience. So before we continue, here is a checklist. Please ensure all these items are checked. Make sure you are seated comfortably with your laptop. Ensure Flutter and Android Studios are pre-installed. If you haven't done that yet, don't worry. The doc link is shared in the chat section. Follow the tutorial and set up your Flutter properly. So, uh, this is the doc link. This is the doc basically where you get the all the links related to the setup of Android Studio. You can download the Android Studio from this link, and you can get a tutorial documentation of how to set up your Flutter from here. Here is attached. Here I attached a YouTube video also. You can go through this depending upon your OS, and rest are the things you will need in previous in future sessions. So 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 guys, react with thumbs up if you have already have done the setup. uh it's a mixed opinion. Okay, so Guys, install the Flutter quickly. Till then, we discuss about the theoretical concepts about Flutter. So, what what we will be doing today? So here is our agenda for today. Firstly, we will go through the Flutter fundamentals, learn about the basics and how to get started with Flutter. Next, we will get to know about the generative AI, the hot sensational topic of today's time, and how Gemini is impacting the generative AI. Then we will have an hands-on session where you will put all your knowledge into practice. At the end, we will have a Q&A session where we will wrap up with any questions you might have. So, guys, are you all ready? So, are you guys ready? So, let's dive in. So, basically, at the end of this session, you will able to build this app, this stunning looking awesome app, and showcase this to your friends. So this app basically does means if you have any questions or doubts regarding any homework, you can click an picture of the question and upload it in the app. The app using the Gemini will answer the question. So let's get started. So Flutter, you might have heard this term often in your peer groups, but what exactly is it? Is it a language, an ID, or something else? Let me explain. Flutter is Google's open source UI toolkit for building beautiful, natively compiled apps for mobile, web, and desktop from single code base. It's powerful, efficient, and has everything you need to create high quality apps quickly. So Flutter is not a language. It's basically a software development toolkit provided by the Google. It is built by Google on in the year of 2017. But still the question remains that uh, in today's generation means there are languages like Java, JavaScript, Kotlin, and Kotlin, which is built by Google itself. Then why did Google came up with yet another way to build apps? Why should we learn this new technology called Flutter, and why not just stick with the traditional app building techniques? So many questions, right? Let's break it down. So Flutter is basically engineered for high developer velocity. Flutter focuses on productivity, where you can instantly see changes in your code without losing application state. Flutter provides a rich set of widgets designed for modern reactive framework. Flutter integrates well with popular development tools and IDEs to get started quickly. Next important thing is the user experience. Flutter gives you complete control over every pixel on the screen. Flutter's framework manages widgets, rendering, animations, and gestures seamlessly. Flutter provides accessibility and gate for developers and both new and experienced in mobile development. Flutter presents an engaging modern way to build native applications, simplifying the learning process. So that's nice. But the still questions remain. What about the learning curve? Why to choose over React Native? And what about the community support? So this is a graph that specifically shows the adoption of Flutter over other language in the year of 2020. You can see the drastically increase of the learning curve of Flutter uh, in the month of December over the other languages like React Native, Swift, Kotlin, Java. So choice is yours. Uh, let's take a closer look at Flutter's architecture. So Flutter's architecture basically consists of three layers. First is the framework. This is the top layer where most developers interact. It includes Material and Cupertino for UI design. Material is basically the UI library made by the Google for stock Android experience, and Cupertino is the UI library made by iOS for its stock experience. Widgets is the most important thing in this whole Flutter. You will get to know in the future sessions. And rendering, animations, painting, gestures, these all are in the framework section, where this is the top layer where most developers interact with it. Basically, engine this layer handles the heavy lifting, including rendering, pipelines, frame scheduling, assets resolution. Next is the embedded. This is platform specific. Basically, this is where Flutter integrates with native systems like Android and iOS. These three layers work together to ensure Flutter apps are high performance and portable across platforms. Next, let us discuss about the React Native's architecture. Why we choose Flutter instead of React Native. So React Native architecture is basically based on the React framework. The foundation lies where foundation layer is based on the React, where developers write in JavaScript code for the app's interface and logic also. Next is the Fabric and the Turbo module, uh, which helps in the JavaScript module to get performance optimization. The new architecture improves the React Native's efficiency and responsiveness, reducing the overhead of the old bridge communication model. But still, Flutter is best in terms of performance and frame scheduling techniques. Uh, Alongside with Flutter, you might have heard the word Dart. What basically is Dart? Uh, so Flutter uses Dart, a language designed for speed and ease of use. It is similar to Java-like language, means it is an object-oriented language, and so it is easy to learn. Dart basically supports both JIT and AOT compilation, enabling enabling us to develop and iterate fast. It's reactive by nature, built-in features and streams, compiles with native ARM. This is the most important thing. So this is responsible for means building apps in various platforms with a single code base. From here, Vishal will take over discussing the Flutter fundamentals.
Hello everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Vishal Mathur, and I'll be telling you how to create a Flutter application. I hope majority of you guys have installed and set up the Flutter application and Android Studio. So let's begin. You have to open your command prompt CMD and navigate to the folder where you want to create a Flutter application. So first write Flutter create and the name of the application. So we are today making the math solver. So math solver, you can write that, and it should be in small case, not in small case letters. So it doesn't give any errors. It will create a Flutter application. So all done. I wrote 129 files. Now we can navigate to your file and see the Flutter application have created all the files that we need. Next we have is the what is inside that application. You can write the Flutter application from now. So in this small code you can see there is a word main function. What is a word main? It is the entry point of the Flutter application, and this is where your app starts execution. The run app inside the word main is used to launch the application and take my app to the at its root. And below that you have a stateless widget. So stateless widget, inside it returns a material app. So what is the material? It is the stateless widget. It returns material app widget wraps the entire application, giving it access to material design. Material app is simply a set of design standards provided by Google for constant look and feel good. So, and below that you have and in the material app home section you have a scaffold. So scaffold is basic structure of the application. It forms from top to bottom. It creates the Flutter application, and inside the scaffold you have two properties, app bar and child. Inside that, two text widgets are there. So let me show you how to create this simple application. I'm using this web IDE. So I have created a word main function, and inside that a stateless widget, and in returns a material app. And inside this, we'll write it returns a scaffold. Inside the scaffold, you have app bar. In the app bar will return app bar widget, and inside that you have a title widget, title property. Inside the title property, you can have a text widget which you can write hello, and after that you will have a body of the application, and inside the body you can pass center, and inside the center you will have a child. A child you will have a text widget, first application. Let's run the application. Uh, Sorry for this inconvenience. I'll have it.
Vishal, you were right. Basically, it is IDLE errors.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, it is an
okay.
idea. Can I show you in the my? I'll wait. I'll show you in the studio. So it is a complete code, but it will take very much time in my ID. So I will show you the rest of the application. It it will just have a application, and in the tab bar you will see a text written hello Flutter, and inside the body in the center we will have a welcome to Flutter. It is written there. So after that, what is widgets in Flutter? So widgets, everything in Flutter is a widget. From the smallest icon you can see, icon title to till everything, every pixel of the application is a widget. It has two types of widgets: stateless widget and stateful widget. So stateless widget is immutable; it doesn't change during the runtime. Like if you have implemented a image in the application, it will not change during while the app is running. But if you have a stateful widget and you in the stateful widget, you will, for example, you will have a form field, like the user will put name and age like that. So it can change. It can change the display. It can change the display while taking the variables, like so that can change. And so it will have a stateful widget can has a state that can change. Some common widgets are text, container, row, column, list view, and image button. So let's come back to the scaffold widget. So inside the scaffold widget, we have various properties like app bar should be there, body is there, floating action button, and many more. So inside the scaffold, scaffold widget, the app bar is there. App bar is like if, for example, let's take example of WhatsApp. You can see the WhatsApp is written the top left corner, and you have a search button and a three dots. That is the drop down menu. That whole row is the app bar. It provides navigation to that. You can sometimes have a back button. So that is the whole row is the app bar. You can have various properties, like you can have a title, that is the WhatsApp, and you can have action, leading, and background color that you can change according to your UI. Next is the body. The body is the main content area of the application. Like the main content area, like for example in WhatsApp, you can have in the red area all the chat rooms you have. So that is the main content area where you can put your main application project. So, and it have various properties like column, list view, and stack. You can put anything there. And and the floating action button. So floating action button, what is floating action button? If in the example that image you have is showing, the blue bottom right corner, you can see a green message icon, and the button is there. That button is floating action button. You can put a floating action button in your app too. It has various properties like on press, child, and background color. On press, let's navigate to a different page or does whatever callback function you put there, and a child to display the button text or icon you can put, and the background color according to your UI. And next we have layout widgets. Layout widgets to arrange the UI of the UI elements of the application, like you have row and column, container, stack, and list view. And so first we'll discuss about the row and column. The row and columns widgets are the vertical and horizontal layouts. You can arrange your UI elements in the vertical order, like top to bottom in a column widget that you use. But if you use a row widget, you can arrange your UI elements from right to left in a horizontal manner. It has various properties like min axis alignment, cross axis alignment. So in this, you can align your widgets according to the needs of the application. Like you can give a distance between the various properties and various widgets. After that, we have a container. Container is a widget that's used for styling and layout of the adjustments. Like you can put any child there. Inside the child, you can put any widget can be put there. You can style it. You can add multiple widgets there. You can style it. You can position it anywhere. Alignment you can put anywhere. You can add padding, margin, decoration, alignment, and height and width about the container. So basically, you can add multiple widgets, give it decoration that you like, and position it anywhere. So its key properties are padding, margin, decoration, alignment, and height and width. The next we have stack. Stack. The basic function of stack is overlapping different many widgets one after another. Like if you want to overlap a text widget on the above of a image widget, like that. You can do that with the help of stack. Stack has various key properties like alignment. You can align the widgets whichever manner you want, from the left to right or right to left. It has a fit property. You can fit it according to the need of the application.
Excuse me, Vishal.
Yeah.
Can you turn on the slideshow, please?
Okay. Thank you. You can fit the widgets according to your need, like from top left to right or right to left, whatever need of the project. And it have a different children property where you can different widgets you can put there. And next we have list view widget. Widget is basically the multiple scrollable list you can put there. Like if you in the example of WhatsApp, we have many chats that you can scroll through and scroll through, so you can see that widget is there. The list view widget is applied. It has various properties like children, scroll direction, padding, builder. In children, you can put any widget. In scroll direction, you can put either top to bottom or bottom to top. And in padding, it gives the space up for your content. And in builder, it's basically a dynamic data set, like different chats are there in example of WhatsApp, or in this example, you can see a list of different items are there. And the last one is safe area widgets. So safe area widgets allows the app to implement in the boundary of safe area. Like if you want to avoid area lies status bar, and below the application there navigation button is there. So if you want to avoid that area, you will use a safe area widget. Like its key properties are child, minimum, maintain bottom view padding. A child widget is there, so you can put anything in the scaffold there, and minimum is sets additional padding around the child. So thank you, and next we'll be presenting you by Madhuram.
Okay, hello everybody. Vishal, thank you for your valuable information.
Uh,
Uh, I'm presenting my screen. I hope it is visible. Everyone can react to this. Okay, so a poll is also generated. You all can attend the poll, and yeah, I'll continue again. Okay. So hello everyone, myself Madhuram, and I'll be continuing from here to explain more types of widgets in Flutter. So now we will be starting with visible widgets. Please make a note that these widgets are the bread and butter of any Flutter application. These widgets are basically visible to the users, unlike layout widgets, which are working and present but not visible. Visible widgets are solely responsible for the human and computer interaction. Since these can be used and interacted by the user for performing the defined actions, so we will be seeing these types of widgets now. So first we have here is image widget. In this widget, we can store a particular image which can be called either from the directory by creating an assets folder in the project structure, or from the network by pasting a URL. And you can also it can also be called by API calls, which is going to be shown in our further presentation. So some key properties of this are image. You can use these properties by putting a decimal or a dot in front of the object and using these properties. The first is image. It contains the source of the image, like if you have a URL or maybe the part directory of the image where you have stored in the folder, you can paste it here. And the second is fit. So this is a very good property of the image widget. It defines how the image fits within its boundary. Like for example, if you want to keep your image within the whole container, like if you want to fill your image to the size of the container, you can use fill option for it. Alignment, it aligns the image within its container. Like if you want, it is very customizable. Like if you want your image on the left hand side, or maybe in the center, or maybe on the right hand side, you can do it by that. Also, if you have to customize your image size by pixels, you can use width and height to assign the size of the image. Okay. So next we have here is text widget. In this widget, we can store text values by creating a child widget to hold it in container. Using this widget increases flexibility to code, since it also helps in manipulating style, color, height, and also helps in adjusting the alignment of the text. Various modules, like one is Flutter Fork Math module, which helps to create the text containing math equations in the proper format, like it includes a root sign or maybe a fractions and much more. So its key properties are data. It can store the content which we have to display, and the style, a text style object to customize font style, font size, weight, or maybe you can provide the color to the text too. And the text align, again, you can align your text to the left, center, or right inside the container. So icon widget. So now we come to the icons widget. Imagine how boring it would be if all the applications in your device had no icons but only their names. Also, if you had always the same submit texted button for your assignments. So to make these things interesting, we have icons widget. These widgets help in adding images to the app icons, which create a good visual impact on the user. So you can use the property of icon to display your icon. Maybe it may be a PNG folder, maybe any image, or you can create uh, icons multiple folders so that if your icon has a animation, or maybe you can put it here. You can also adjust the size of icon by using dot size, and you can also change the color of the icon. It is very flexible. Hmm, so, so this is the real, it's the button widget. This is how you will be actually interacting with your Flutter application. These button widgets are really useful since they are used as a triggering part. Since these can be assigned particular actions when tagged would be activated and performing the actions. Its first property is it on press. Like you can define the action whichever you want to perform. It is very customizable. You can even code out your personalized actions, and like you create functions in the like in C++ and Java. Here you will do in Dart. Okay, so next is child. It represents the content which will be present inside the button. It may be a text or maybe an icon or maybe a simple solid colors. Now style. You can also customize this budget button and changing its color, shape, or maybe elevation. You can also provide shadow boxes to it to create a 3D visual effect. Okay. So next is enable. If your button has to be a responsive button, like if you click it and if it is green in color currently, and the user wants to click it, and after clicking, it turns red, so that the user can get a good response of it. So you can use enable for this. Okay. So I'll be showing you some types of buttons. And you can visit this api.flutter.dev. It may be given, the link will be provided into the prerequisite docs. Okay. So this is the pre-coded Dart pad, and I'll be showing what different types of buttons. Okay, so we'll be coding into a column. So first we'll add children. Since we have to add a widget, then a widget and define it again. Okay, so first button we would select as elevated button. We'll define what it does on pressing. So we'll use the on press. Now we'll put a child which contains a text inside it to let us know which button is it. So I'll put elevated, weighted in it. Okay, I'll run it. Okay, so here you can see a elevated button has appeared, and you can see if I hover over it, it shows a 3D effect. Also, some shadow boxes are there, and the color is changed. So it is a very good visual button, visual affecting button. Now next I would take is filled button. Okay, the same code. It is very flexible since the format of each button is same. It is very helpful for the coder too. It is a big issue if you are remembering all of the how do I say syntax. So it is easier in Flutter so that you don't have to remember a lot. For each button, there is no separate text, separate syntax. And put filled. Yes. I'll write it completely since it is taking time. But I'll run it again. It will show yes completely. Okay, so these are the three types of buttons. The first one is elevated, and the second one is filled. We are talking about it. The filled button is a very good button, like majorly used for submit button or maybe send image, like these types of buttons. So in this, the color is very the alternate or what we can say is the text is the opposite of the background. The app's background is like white color in this, and the text widget is a text widget also contains text in white color, and the background of the button is different. It is completely filled. Mhm. So back to our presentation. So So now we come to the last visible widget to be covered in this presentation. We have the slider widget. It is basically one step above to just clicking like in a button. This widget allows the user to choose a range of values by just click, hold, and dragging till the required value is achieved. For example, the volume control system in your phones can be controlled by dragging the volume bar up and down as required. Okay, so here properties, you can use value to get the current value of the slider where the slider is pointing. You can access the its current value, and then you can use min and max so that like for example in your volume control system you don't want your user to go below 0 or maybe below 100% of the total volume, then you can use these ranges. So there is no issue using the slider. You can use on change property. It is basically a callback trigger when the value changes. Like if you want your user to not use or maybe show an alert dialog box, maybe above the 100, maybe above 80% of the volume, so that using hearing loud voice is harmful for your ears, or maybe some message to be popped. You can use this on change. If you're like if the user increases the volume more than 80%, the this on change value will coordinate with the internal port and show the alert. So divisions, it specify discrete values. Like if you are using a rating slider, like rating between 0 to 10, and you want your slider to be showing discrete values for each value of the from 0 to 10. So what this divisions does uh, it divides the complete slider into 10 divisions so that it can show discrete values. Okay. Now, advanced widgets. Okay, so what we have here is navigation or routing widget. This is generally used in applications having multiple widgets. It is used for navigation between different screens or pages. It can have customizable animations for page transitions like fading transition. A transition builder can be used to create this fading transition, like controlling the opacity of the transition, etc. Now, navigator.push. There is a stack of all the screens, and if you want your user to navigate to the next screen, you can actually decide which next screen a button which user presses leads to the application. And navigator.pop, it removes the top screen from the navigation stack. Yeah. So if the user is currently in the settings page, if he presses back, then the settings page, which is at the top of the stack, it gets removed, so that the user can lead to the home page or maybe the previous used page. Hmm. Now animations. Now coming to animations with it. Who doesn't love animation? Everybody does. This is what helps in creating a smooth workflow of an app. It is used for enhancing users' experience and increase app engagement. Animations can put an impact on users both visually and physically. Now you might ask how. Visually, like creating a ripple or blasting effect animation indicates that something big has happened by the user's action. And providing different haptics for different animations creates a physical feedback and good impact on users' experience. Yeah. So next we have here is splash screen. A splash screen is the very first screen users see when they open an app. It typically showcases the app's logo, name, or even a short loading animation. Its primary purpose is to set a professional tone, reinforce branding, and create a smooth transition into the main content of the app. Beyond aesthetics, the splash screen is very functional. It allows the app to initialize resources or load data in the background, ensuring the app is ready when users navigate to the home screen. It is basically similar to welcoming the guest and having a good chat with them until the food is ready to be served. Think of it as app's first impression, a moment to captivate the user and establish trust. A well-designed splash screen makes the app experience feel polished and seamless from the very start. Now, I would like Gaurav to further proceed with the presentation.
Thank you, Madhuram, for this insightful journey. Now, I am with you, Gaurav Agarwal, and I shall be continuing your session. So let's actually dive into generative AI. Well, we for this specific app that we are building right now, the homework solver, will be using Gemini models. But Gemini is not the only generative AI application that can be used. So let's first talk about generative AI. Everyone is using generative AI right now at this moment when we are using our for assignments or for building for development purposes. All of us use generative AI, isn't it? Let me just see those reactions pop up. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So all of us are using it. So what is actually generative AI? It's not just any random form of artificial intelligence, but it is a very dedicated branch of it, which is meant to create mostly new and meaningful content. And this is not limited to text or images. We can also, you will all, yeah, when you are prompting Chat GPT, you could have seen it give you some kind of tables or files, text files, many kind of formatting it can provide you. Well, how it works? It is trained on a massive data sets and it learns from those patterns and generates similar data. The data sets which are used for training these generative AI models is such massive that the content that is generated is actually similar to what has it has been trained for. But because it was such a wide variety of data, so it seems like it was completely new and forged specifically for us. But in the originality, what has happened? It was trained from some data sets, and now it has given us the content which is similar but not completely new. But how it seems completely new for us? Well, that's the magic generative AI has for us. Here are some popular generative AI models most of us use, like ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not a model. It uses GPT for text modeling, and its latest version is GPT 4, 4.0, 4.0 Mini, such other models. This is completely text-based model. Another, we have dull E model. This is completely for images when we are prompting for images, and it has to give an answer in text or image or whatever it may choose. But our info is to use the images as an input. So another popular generative AI model that has been surfacing the internet is the musical models. Musicians all over the world are just enthralled with this experience where they have to the very popular issue everyone was facing was like composing songs, getting some good lyrics. So these were the models that came up in the market and now are just ruling the whole music industry with their generative AI capabilities. Well, that's for the generative AI introduction. Let's see if these have any benefits or not. What's the purpose of building such an event, such a model? So it enhances our creativity. As I said, it is using massive data sets. So where did these data sets come from? Well, it came from all over the internet. And who's building the internet? It's us. We are feeding the whole internet with our own creative, with our own creations. So when you actually prompt a generative AI model, the output it gives is somewhere forged from the content another creator spent into the internet. So you can actually see that thousands of creative artists and their data combined gives you a new result. So it will enhance your creativity. It will save your time because you won't actually have to manually create everything. Like when you design something, when you write a code, or when you are even preparing, when you're asking for some question answers. So it will save your time beyond any imagination. Automation, like I said, you don't have to do everything manually. You can just do it. You can just prompt the AI model to do your task for you. The magic, where does the magic happens? Well, it happens in your prompting, the way you prompt the generative model. So it will reduce your effort only if you are able to prompt it correctly. If you give some random prompts, the AI will be confused itself as what to do. So you need to focus on what effort you are putting, what kind of prompts you are putting. Next time you go to use a generative AI model, whether you are using chat gpt for your assignments or whether you are just hanging out for creating new images, try to use more creative prompts. Instead, you what you can actually try is tell ChatGPT to craft a prompt for you, which you can give for something like you want to generate an image for a dog or or a happy dog or some specific breed. Ask ChatGPT to create that dog. Well, let's not go too deep into generative AI itself. It has a lot of applications. Yes, we just mentioned not just entertainment, healthcare, customer support. Well, customer support is one of the biggest applications we have for generative AI models. Organizations were just thriving to uh, increase their profits, and a major count was where they for the customer support they had to deploy manual single employees who were talking to people on phone, on chat. So here generative AI models played the biggest role in revolutionizing those industries. uh, well, when we are building such high models, such high applications, there has to be challenges. Every creation in this world has its pros and its cons. So there were three most challenging challenges I can say. The first is the misinformation, as the internet is flooded with all kind of content, and there is no filter to check whether the content is correct or it is incorrect. So there will be misinformation. Notice when you would have visited any kind of a say chat gpt or black box, any kind of generative AI website, you will see a disclaimer there that it may produce inaccurate results. Please check before continuing. So this is an important part where because it is using yes massive data sets, and for ethical concerns we can say like there are a lot of scripts like hacking scripts or content that is not meant for everyone. These need to be filtered when you publicly availing our models. So there are ethical concerns which we have. And yes, for this, we have to bias our model to generate specific content only. Potential, we all know how potent these generative AI models are. They have right now revolutionized whole industries of education, art, creativity, design, business, and whatnot. Well, a lot of it for generative AI model. Let's now dive right into our model that we'll be using for our homework solver app, the Gemini 1.5 Flash. Why this specific model? Well, because we want to keep our app very light. Don't want to make it too heavy for people to use, and we need to make it as basic as possible, yet as perfectly as we can make it. Using the 1.5 Flash model, well, this is a generative AI model that is used mostly for text and images. The magic of this model is that this the name Flash itself comes from its faster response time. Whether you give it an image prompt or a text prompt, the amount of heavy work this model does in a very short span of time is the reason why the name Gemini 1.5 Flash was given. And 1.5 is just the version name. Don't focus too much on it. Well, it the response is such fast and smooth that it can be very easily used in any app, not just the Android apps or iOS apps. You can also deploy them in your web apps. Let's move ahead. Firstly, I'll tell you how you can create this is the important step. See right here, you can see this state where we need to initialize an app. So whenever we are initializing our app, this init state mod function, you can see there is this initialize chat function, which will be using to actually start this. We need to initialize any API before you use it. So here you can see this function of future initialize chat. This is defining our generative model. What model we are using? Gemini 1.5 Flash and its latest version. The next is an important factor, the API key. Every developer need to have this API key. Without this API key, just random anonymous requests cannot be sent to the Gemini server. This is very necessary. So how do we get this API key? Well, now let's generate a API key. This is the kind of interface you will be seeing. Let's navigate to this. The link for this has been shared on your prerequisites, and again, it might be shared in the chat window. The moment you hop into the screen, you will see a pop up to just accept the privacy policy and those terms and conditions. Do it. You will also get an option to opt in for those marketing emails. You may or you may not. Then we have to create this API key. You can just create it anonymously or not actually anonymously. You can create it without an existing project, but it would be paid one. So here I have some projects with me. I'll select this Gemini API project, which I built in Google Cloud, and then I'll just create an API key for it. And there it goes, boom, an API key is generated. I can just copy this generative AI key, this API key, and use it in my here. I can see your API key. Just replace this with the API key you get. I repeat, never ever share your API keys with anyone. This here I am showing you because I will actually delete it. I won't keep it with myself because I have made this public. So never show your API key or reveal it to anyone. Make sure when you're uploading your code to GitHub repositories, when they are public, please hide those API keys. Use environment variables or whatever you can. That's it for explaining the Gemini. Let's now get you to the GitHub repo. Well, the repo link has also been shared in the prerequisites and it will also be shared again. Navigate to those. Just give me a thumbs up when you navigate to this GitHub repo. We'll just clone it and run it in our Android Studio. Yes, I can see there a lot of reactions coming up. Yeah. So here, as you can see, this part, most of you should have already used GitHub a lot of times. If you haven't, it's not a problem. just click on this area, this button, and just download the zip folder. This will download this zip folder, which you can, this will be the complete folder. Here I have it downloaded. Yes. Just extract this folder. You can use WinRAR extractor or any other extractor because it is a .zip file. You can use any of your zip extractors to extract it. Here I can see I have this. So let's open Android Studio. When your Android opens, you must have already installed Android Studio by now. If you haven't already, it's fine. You can see for this right now, or you can also try it on your own. Just click on this open button and navigate to wherever you have your installed, where you have cloned it, where you downloaded it. I have it in my downloads folder. Here I see this homework solver main. Whenever there is an Android app you clone or you get it from somewhere, it will show this specific icon for Android. Just hit an OK button and trust this project. If it is not a trusted project, if you are cloning it from someone else's repository which you don't think can be safe, you can choose to open it in safe mode. You can configure your Microsoft Defender or other things to just make it happen. Then yeah, we can see a lot of errors, and don't get panicked. This is not an error. It's just that you have first time cloned it. Here you can see this get dependencies options. This is the reason we are seeing so many red lines. Don't be upset. Just click on this get dependencies button, and then Flutter will directly import all the dependencies you would have. And there we go. See, all of it is gone. This is how you can just import your app. That's it from me for today. Hope you have had a great one. Now our co-lead Saksham would be continuing. Before that, feel free to ask for any questions you would have, and do drop some reactions if you want, if you liked it. Yes, thank you. And please drop in any questions if you have. The Q&A option is available. Yeah, now Saksham would continue.
Yeah, so is my screen visible?
Yeah, go ahead.
And my voice is audible clearly?
Yeah.
So hello everyone, I am Sakshan Gupta, the Android team co-lead for GDGC for this tenure. Today I will be explaining the code for the homework helper app using Gemini. We are going to build using it Flutter. Let's go through it. Firstly, let me tell you that we have pre-written some parts of the code, which I will explain after the completion of the whole code. So without any further delay, let's start with the project. So firstly, I assume you have already cloned the project in your Android Studio. Now, what I want you is to run the project. So how will you run the project? Go to this device manager. Here you will see a like a play button. Click on that. The device will be showing in the running devices. Then after the device is loaded, click on here the play button, which will basically run the program. So now what I want you to navigate to the left folder and then the home screen.dart. So I have already run the project in my system. So let's begin by adding pick image functions. So basically here the function will allow us to like pick an image either by a photo or selecting one from the game. So here final picker equals to image. Then we will like final xy image plus 2 away picker dot pick image. So if image is not equal to null, so basically in this if statement, we will check if the image is selected by the user, it will navigate to a new screen, which is basically a chat screen. So wait a second. That is the so so
Saksham, if you could increase your font size, it would be great. Yeah.
final data to use image data, then we will like find xy image equals to how will it declare that image. And now we will add that if statement. If the user selects an image, it, he or she will be navigated to the chat string. So navigate dot push. There we will write material page dot. Here we will write context dot. Now we are like navigating to the chat string, and we will provide the image file which the user has uploaded. So that's it for this function. Now let's see how to display the option for the user, whether he or she wants to take a photo or like choose from the gallery. So like move on to the here like the expanded widget where you can see the comment during widget. So remove that size box. Now type padding. So first we are like basically we are doing it for choose like take a photo. Uh, So we are like doing it for take a photo option, and if the image screen is like small, if the screen size is small, the padding would be of 16, else the padding would be of 24 pixels. Now inside the padding, you will the row inside the row, you will expand it. In 12. In 12, basically made our widgets interactive. So when we like tap on the widget, click on this widget, it will call the pick image function which we have made above. So we will provide this function with the picture which we have taken from the camera by using image source.camera. Now we will use a card image to display the card in which by which we can by clicking on it, it will open the camera. So elevation, let's keep it 8 for the shadow effect. Shape rounded rectangle border and border radius. Insert it circular with circular radius 20. Yeah. So now we will like put a container below it. Container is where the things like icon and all appear. So we are giving the height of the container, which is basically 20% of the screen. And for the decoration part, we will use box decoration and give it a border radius. Circle 20, same as the card, and give the background color to the container white. Now, for the icon and the text written on the card or the container, we are using a column widget, which basically aligns from top to bottom. So we are aligning it in center of the container by using main axis alignment of center. And inside this, we are adding the elements like icon and text. So firstly, for icon, we're using icon widget and icons dot camera. We are using camera. We can use this icon and it's located here. Now you can give the size to the icon 80 pixels and color. Let's give it the color, I guess black 54, which is like lightish black color. And to provide a gap between the basically the icon and the text below it, we are giving a spacing of 16 by writing the size box inside the height. Then for the text, we are using flexible. Inside it, we are using a text widget to write the text. So what should be write text? Let's suppose take a photo. As we are accessing it from camera, now give it a styling, text style, and then we should give like font size. We can give font size of 18 and it should look good. Font weight it should be bold as you can see it properly. And basically we can give color same as the icon. Yeah. Now we should align this text in the center. So it should align properly with the icon. Now to avoid the overflow of the text, we can write text overflow dot ellipsis, which basically avoids overflow of the text. And max lines should be 2. So basically what the max line does, if there is a text more than 2 lines, so it will like do after the 2 lines, it will like do the dot 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 effect. Yeah. So if we like hot reload this project by clicking on this thunder symbol. Now if we hot reload the project, yeah, you can see the card is created. Take a photo. Now So are you guys coping up with me? Please react with the thumbs up if you're following me. Yeah. Good. So now as we have created take a photo card. Now if a user wants to choose from the gallery, we have to make a card for it. So it is basically just like same as the camera, but the difference is instead of icon we are using assets folder. Basically we are using an image. Yeah, you can see here's the image we are using instead of icon. So let's copy the expanded. Yeah, copy it and paste it here. Yeah. So if we hot restarted, you can see here a take a photo. So now what we have to change here is instead of the icon, we can put an image asset thing. So remove the icon thing, image dot asset, and we can give the directory name of the assets. So we are like provided the folder name assets, which is here, and then the image name, which we want instead of the icon. So, and now giving the height to the image, basically 10%, 10% of the screen height should be good, I guess. And yeah, is the comma. Now also we have to change the text. So we can put the text to from there. No. Now if we already start the app, yeah, see, you can see the second card is updated now. Yeah. So have you all completed till here? Home screen dot as the home screen is completed now. Please give it thumbs up. Yeah, have you done it on it? If you haven't, we will provide the video of this session on the YouTube on our YouTube channel also, so you can take a look after like doing properly set up your Flutter and Dart. So now let's move on. So we say now let's move on to the chat screen part where the AI will give us answers of our questions. So yeah, let's click on the chat screen dot Dart. So yeah, now we will move on to the chat screen dot Dart in order to complete the code. In this part of the code, the initialize chat function, as Gaurav told already, we will initialize generative model with the Gemini 1.5 flash latest model. So let's start typing. So red model, generative model. So let's name. So we are using Gemini 1.5 flash latest model. So for the API key, Gaurav already told how to make your API key. Now I will copy my API key from the take on the API key. And so I've copied my API key there and paste. So all of you, please make sure you put yours API key only, not mine, as I will delete it later. Now, after this, we will if we have initialized the chat. Now we will move to start chat. Okay, chat connectivity and standing. So this function will ensure that the device is connected to the internet, and if the device is basically connected to the internet, it will send the image, basically our questions image. So now for the check connectivity, basically here in the check connectivity function, here our device will check whether it is connected from the internet or not. So final connectivity result first to await connectivity with connected or check connectivity. Now we will return connectivity result. So what the connectivity methods, it returns basically the current connectivity status. If the result is connectivity result dot none, meaning there is no internet connection, so we will return false state, as the return type of the function is bool. And which basically if the return thing is false, the bool value is false, it means basically the device is not connected to the internet and the device is offline. Otherwise, it will return true, which signals that the device is connected to the internet. Now moving to this view, check connectivity and send image. Now we first check if the device is connected to the internet. Now we will use check connectivity method to check this. Here we will use if await check connectivity if the user is connected to the internet, we will call send image function, which basically sends the image to the Gemini. Else, if the device is offline, we will show no internet dialog box, which is this function. See, it is basically pre-written. So here that dialog box will appear if the device is online and you try to upload a picture. So the dialog box will appear like no internet connection. Please check your internet connection, try again. Now, moving on, here we are going to implement retry mechanism. Like if the user wants to retry. So that's recording. While retry count is basically less than next retry. Try away publishing and retry count to 0. Like basically the retry count will become 0 if internet connection comes back, and close this function. Now in the catch area, if the connection doesn't come, it will increase the retry count. So basically we have initialized a max tries equals to 3. So this means the user can retry only 3 times. So now if retry count exceeds is equals to next, right? We can set a state here, which basically displays a message. Is used, and then we will provide the content. For is user false means basically false value means the Gemini, basically the AI is saying that to us. If user is true, it is like the user is saying. Okay, so we will write fail to connect. Please retry after some time. Yeah. So and we will provide them the loading bar equals to false. And now, if basically if the initial operation fails, it tries again to a maximum number of retries, which is basically 3. The retry count increases with each failure, and if it exceeds the maximum allowed retries, it will display a failure message, which is basically here failed to connect. Please retry again after some time. So, and it will display a failure message and stop retry. After each failed attempt, the code waits for a longer period before try again. So we will put here for the waiting thing, we will use future dot delay duration. Seconds, let's keep it retry count. So basically the retry time basically increases as the retry count increases. So basically after each failed attempt, the code waits for a longer period before try again, which is the time is like exponentially increasing. So this approach helps avoid overwhelming the server with repeated requests in case of temporary issues. In the next part, we will display a loading indicator. For the send image part, we will like put set state loading equals to true, as we have to send the message to the user, also to the AI. And if it is user, it's true. Basically, true refers to the actual user, not the AI. So the content we will be providing to the AI is the image file. Wait, so, and we'll retry the same. Now we will convert the image thing into bytes. So final image bytes equals to await image file dot read read as bytes final content equals to content dot multi data part, and the data part will be the image will be providing is of PNG type, and so for the text part, we are by default providing a prompt to the AI. Please provide a detailed solution for the question in the image. So after this, we will write final response. Now, as we want the response from the AI also, so chat dot send message content. Final text equals to response dot text response dot text. No response from it. So basically, what we have done here, if the Gemini, if the Gemini generates the response, it will store in the text by response.text. If not, the text will hold the value no response from the AI. And then after the text, after the chatbot, after sorry, the Gemini got the text value, we will ship the we will ship the app to the Gemini basically by providing his user calls and content equals to text, which we got from here. And also turn off the loading. Yeah. So now moving on. Moving on to the send message function, which will send. So that basically the user can send follow messages to the chain. So basically, if message is empty, close the function immediately. So basically, if the user doesn't write any message, and clear the screen. Now, if the user writes a message, uh, this user content message. If the user provides a message, provides a follow-up message to the AI, then It will check whether the AI is still connected with the internet. Um, and then final response away. Now the message by the user will send to the Gemini. Send message content.text. Yes. Yeah. So after that, the same thing we have done above the final text. If the user, if the Gemini can respond, it will store it in the text using response.text. Else, it will give no response from the API. Now we will shift from user to the AI, as now after providing the message by the user, AI have to respond it. So is user. If user is false, basically the AI. If the user is AI, content, provide the text. The loading status will get turned off. So here we have first check basically. So here we have checked basically if the message is empty, it will not proceed after the message is added to the chat UI with the loading state to indicate is so this loading state to indicate that AI is processing. Yeah. The message is then sent to the API using send message, and once the response is received, it will display in the chat, and the loading indicator will hide. Now, as our code is completed, now let's what will start it. So to check whether all things are completed enough without any error. Yeah, the app is gets already started. As so now let's test our app. So as I am using like an emulator from the Android Studio, the camera function will not work here. It will work only in like a physical device. Now, if we use choose from gallery option, so we have to allow. Oh, sorry, wait a second. We have copied here. We have copied here like the we have copied from the camera portion to build the choose from gallery thing. So here we have to change something. Yeah. Here you can see the image source camera. Change it to gallery. So the device can access the gallery. Now, again, how to start it? Yeah. Now, if we choose from gallery option, it will open my gallery. And suppose I am choosing this image. That's it. The Gemini generated the answer. See. Now, you can ask more follow-up questions there, like give more questions like these. The loading bar appears, and after the AI generated the answer, it will it will display it here. So it will basically gives us the question. Yeah. So if you have, I suppose you have completed building this app. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat box or in the Q&A. I suppose you can ask question in the Q&A part. And, and so congratulations, you have built your first Flutter app. So now I would like to call Shubh Bhaiya to conclude the piece.
Hi guys. So congratulations on completing the day 2 of your winter break. And I hope that this winter tech break was really informative. You were able to learn a lot of new things. I'm really glad that both the teams were able to deliver such great apps. And I would like to make an announcement that if you have attended both the workshops, only then you will be given the certificates. Also, we might ask you for your GitHub repositories for the projects that you have made in the sessions for both day 1 and day 2. And if you prove your point and we are able to see a good project that you have made yourself, then you will be awarded for the same. So that was it. You might ask some more questions if you want in the Q&A section. And this concludes the second day. Thank you guys. Thank you Android team for making this session so great. Thank you guys for attending this.